Next, we have Sala L, and the first word is Qiao. Oh, no, it's not. Hi there everyone, welcome back to Thai Reading, and after the last lesson on complex vowels, I thought we'd look at some of those vowels in action with a bit of vocabulary. I'm going to go really fast, just a few seconds on each vowel, but I'd like to show you each of them in action and show a few things you have to look out for when you are reading these vowels, including bringing in a few of the low-class consonants that we will be seeing next time. The first of our vowels is Sala Am, and here we have dam, black, dam, which is the pounding motion when you are making som dam, and then kam, which means word. And you can see that the consonant ko kwai, a low-class consonant on kam, is very similar to dodek. You just have to notice whether the circle is pointing up or pointing down. Next, we'll look at Sala Ao. We have Dao, which means star. We have Cow, which means rice, which you see an awful lot in Thailand. And then Yao, which means long, and we're using the low-class Yoryak as the initial consonant there. Dao and Yao are both mid-tone because they have no tone mark with them, and Cow is falling tone because of my toe. Similar to Sala Ao is Sala I, and here we have Bai, which means afternoon, Kai, which means to sell, and then Dai, which we've seen before, meaning to die. And you can hear that Bai is low tone, Kai is rising tone, and Dai is mid-tone. Similar group of words on the next slide, we have boy, which means often, and that is low tone because of the MYEP mark. Then hoi, which means shellfish, and that is a rising tone because of the high-class consonant. And then finally we have ko kwai again, koi, which means gradually, kind of, but you will most often hear it as mai koi, not so much. Mai koi hiu, I'm not so hungry. Next, from Sala Oi to Sala Oi, and here we have doi, which is a complex word that means by way of or via, but it's used in a lot of different contexts, and I don't fully understand it myself. Then hoi, which means to moan, but can also just be an expression of indignation. Hoi, which means that you are upset about something, but it might just be in fun. Next, we have Sala Oi, and pui means to discover. Then kui broadly means ever, but it's not used in exactly the same way as in English, as you will know if you have seen a Thai person say, I ever been to Singapore, meaning I have been to Singapore before. Finally, the city name Loi is a good example of how you can't always trust the romanization that you see in Thailand. It is not pronounced Loi, it is pronounced Loi. Sala Uai is next, and we can see Mai Chatawa, the rare tone mark, giving a rising tone on Guai, which is a part of the word for noodle, Guai Tiao. Next, we have duai, which is falling tone because of my toe, and this means to or also. And finally, the word suai means beautiful or pretty, and you will hear this word a lot in Thailand in many contexts. Do make sure you pronounce it with a rising tone, suai, because otherwise there are other words it can mean, one of which is dreadfully unlucky. Next, we have the most complex vowels. Sala ia, we have tiang, which means bed, sia, which means spoiled if some food has gone off or something is otherwise in a bad way. And then lia, which means to lick, and you can see lo ling, a low-class consonant in that word there. Then we have Sala ua, starting off with sua, which means tiger, a rising tone there. Then guap, which is a low tone because of the stop final, that means almost. Duan is a word that is very common, meaning month. It is a mid-tone because that is a sonorant final. And then finally, b, which if you're a teacher like me, you might hear your students saying more often than you would like. Next, we'll expand those complex vowels. Sala Qiao first. We have Qiao, which means green, is rising tone because of the high-class consonant. Mid-tone for a mid-class consonant, Diao, which means alone, not the same as Diao, which means wait a moment. Then there is Xiao, high class again, and this is a feeling that causes you to shudder. This can be either positive or negative. And then lastly, Tiao, which is the other part of the word for noodle, guai tiao, and they both have mai jatawa on them. I don't see this tone mark anywhere else in the language as frequently as when I walk past a noodle shop. Next is Sala Uai, and first of all we have Uai, which means slowly, and then Ruai, which means continuously, and you can see Ro Ru there, which is an R consonant, a low-class consonant. You might also have spotted that MYEP is doing different things to the tone of the first two words, but we'll talk about that another time. Finally, Blui, which means naked, and you can see one of Thai's few consonant clusters there, bo, bla and lo, ling together, giving a bl, bl sound. And it's not completely easy to do. That might take a little bit of practice to put bo, bla with another sound. And you'll see Thai people having very similar problems with English when they learn it. Moving on, and some of these vowels are going to get a little bit rarer, so you might see some of the vocabulary a little bit more obscure because I've had to look a bit harder for examples. Here we have Sala Ui, and Kui with a rising tone is a scaly skin rash. Chui means fluently, although I must admit it's not a word I've ever used, but one common word is kui, which means to chat, to speak informally, and that again uses ko kwai. Next is Sala Iu, and hiu is hungry, a word you might hear or use very often. It has a rising tone, and so does piu, because it's also a high-class consonant. Piu means skin. And then finally, tiu, which is a mid-tone, which means to cram for an exam. Next we have Sala L, and the first word is Qiao, which means glass, and it's falling tone because of a mid-class consonant and maito. Then Jiao, which has no tone mark and so is mid-tone with a mid-class. And then finally Lao, which is a very important word for forming the past tense, and it broadly means already. It has lo ling, which is the low-class consonant that we saw earlier, and you might also notice that maito is now causing a high tone, lao, instead of a falling tone, as it does with the first word. You can make Sala L quicker by adding maitaiku to it, but I was only able to find a single word that does this, and that's pleo, which means quickly. Not a word that I knew or have heard before, but you will see again it makes a consonant cluster, a PL sound in this case. From Sala L to Sala Eo, and Eo actually means waist. It is a mid-tone word with a mid-class consonant. Heo is rising tone, and that means abyss or vast hole. And then Leo is also mid-tone, using lo ling, the low-class consonant, and that just means bad. You can make Sala Eo shorter by adding maitaiku. Most commonly, this is in the word reo, which means fast, using ro ru, the low-class consonant, which sounds like an R. There's another word there which means icon, and I thought, that's strange. We've got Sala Eo with a final consonant, Jeo, but then I realized with a little bit more searching, this word should actually be pronounced, I think, Jawe. But we're going to talk about one of these little idiosyncrasies of pronunciation in a later lesson. Finally, we'll talk about roru and roru, the very rare, strange vowel consonant type things, and you see them regularly only in two places. In so rusi, the letter, and rusi means hermit. Also, you will see roru in angrit, which means England or English. And you can hear that in that word, Ruru actually is pronounced ri. And that's where we'll stop our run through of the complex vowels. I hope you found it useful and not too confusing. I've tried to throw in a few new things so you know what's coming, what to expect. But if you're confused by anything that you've heard, you can always ask questions in the comments below. If you like this video, please drop a like and maybe share it with another friend who you think wants to learn Thai. It's a very interesting language to learn, as you can see by some of the words we've looked at in today's lesson. Next time, we're going to finish off all of the alphabet by bringing in the low-class consonants. But bye for now.